Yeah.
All right. What's good? What's good? What's good? You tune to Apartment 5B, hosted by your man, Kel. I got my peoples with me tonight. I got my brother from Brooklyn, Vegas World Inc. What's going on, fam?
What's popping, man? You know what I'm saying? Just dropped the album and shit. I'm retired now. So
This dude, you've been happy to say that, man. Yo, and the album is doing great, man.
thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate all the love. It never takes me that long, even to just have guest verses.
Right.
Do something like that. You know, I appreciate everybody who contributed, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, Kill, who had the dope beats, you know what I'm saying? Came together nice. It's nice and quick. You know what I'm saying? Quick listen, so you can hit that rewind. You know what I'm saying? So I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Sometimes I listen. I don't listen to my own music.
Yeah.
So sometimes I listen like, oh nah, this is all right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. I got my man Jens out of NO. What's going on, Jens? What's good,
up, y'all? What's happening?
Oh man, everything good. Everything is good, man. Everything is good. You know me. Let's jump right into it. So tonight we're chopping it up about an array of topics. This ain't your normal Apartment 5B, top five, this or whatever that. We're looking at a couple of things. We're looking at how you listen to hip hop, what's your favorite genre of hip hop, and I'll kind of break down where these things came from. So we're gonna start with your favorite genre of hip hop. Basically, where it started from was we all know Little Brother dropped the album. I think what was it, Vague? The first one in 11 years or something.
Yeah, like 10 or 11 years.
Well, you know what? Let's start again. Like Tone just jumped in. Tone.
Yo.
Good to go?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You good?
I'm good, Playboy. All
right, bet. I'm gonna set the show off again since you here now. We get going. What's good? What's good? What's good? Tune in to Apartment 5B, hosted by your man.
Wait, hold up, Kev. Hold up. What's up? Ain't the logo like on my face and shit?
My bad. Let me. That's always my bad. Let me see how I can freak that.
I'm looking like
yo. All right, I'm gonna shoot for this. I'm gonna just go with the other one that started, but then I'm gonna come back to. All right, which one can I do?
Or maybe if I move this back.
No, I don't want you to have to move nothing. I'm just I never really fucked with these things before. All right, I'm good. I'm gonna keep it there for a minute, but then I'm gonna move it back. All right.
Okay.
Yes, you good? It's just you good, Jens? You just disappeared for a minute. You good? Yes.
I heard you just now.
All right, you good now?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, bet. All right, let's try it again. What's good? What's good? What's good? You tune in Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kel. I got my squad with me in effect with today. Vegas, my brother from Brooklyn. What's going on, Veg?
Chilling, man. You know what I'm saying? Album out. You know what I'm saying? I'm retired. But that album shit is done.
All right, no doubt. I think if we left them with something good, I think this was a dope way to leave them. You know what I mean? The feedback has been dope. You know what I mean? So I think this was a way. You know, it's crazy to think we've had 4 albums, man. Like, you know what I mean? We've had more albums than some of our hip hop heroes have had.
Yeah, but way more than Jay Electronica. That's for damn sure. You know?
No doubt. And then on top of that, they've all been, you know, and not to just say this because it's us, but I think they've all been quality albums. You know what I mean? From the Gray Area to You're All Welcome to Keep Calm. We Brought Friends. I think, you know, it's been a dope 4 album run. If y'all haven't heard it, Vegas World Inc.bandcamp.com. Go check them out. Give us some spin. Show us some love. Yes, out in New Orleans. What's going on, good brother?
Doing good. How everybody?
Hey, everything is good, brother. Everything is good. I got my my brother Tone out at NC. What's going on, good brother?
Everything is love, baby. Everything is love.
I see you. I see. Everything is love. Everything is love. You already know it is with me. Let's jump right into it. This week we talking about an array of topics. It's not your normal Apartment 5B, top 5 this, top 5 that. More just we just having a conversation over a couple of topics. The first topic we're talking about is what is your favorite genre of hip hop? And the reason why I'm bringing this topic to light is because Ev called me the other day. We all know Little Brother just dropped a new album. Tone Vegas, what is it, like their first album in 11 years or something like that?
Yes, something like that.
I think it's like 9 years, I believe. Something like that.
Okay. So what happened was I heard the album and I was like, the album's cool, but I'm not really feeling it like that. And Ev's response was, that's because you and your Benny the Butcher moved. you and your Conway, there ain't no drugs being sold on the album, ain't no kilos being moved on the album. That's why you don't feel it. Whereas in my opinion, that's not what it is. But it started a conversation on all the subgenres that we have of hip hop. You know, I asked a question today and we'll talk about later. I was like, yo, what's the last hood anthem we had? Like Annie Up or, you know, Shook Ones. And like the stuff people are sending me is shit I've never heard. Nuck If You Buck, people talking about this Future song. I'm like, nigga, y'all naming stripper anthems, nigga. I'm talking about hood anthems. Like, you know, you can't get no lap dance to Shook Ones. You know, you can't get no lap dance to Annie Up. Like, so, but there's a whole bunch of holes in my down south game because all the songs people are sending me I've never heard of in my life. So, you know, we're looking at those genres of hip hop. Not saying that you don't want to listen to nothing else, but Veg, we'll start with you. What would you say is that genre of hip hop? Is it the, you know, my homegirl's wife called me one day and was like, yo, he in the house listening to that angry rap music. And I'm like, what's angry rap music? And she was like, the Lots and shit like that. Like, you know, he in there just cursing. And I'm like, okay, so is your favorite genre angry hip hop? Is it you like the Howard University vibe with Instance, with Talib and them niggas and, you know, Kufis and stuff like that? Like, what is your favorite genre of hip hop? So, Veg, what would you say out of all the different types of hip hop is your favorite? Not that you don't like nothing else, but like that's your go-to right there. What would you say? And for right now, because it may change. Maybe it was different when we was at Morgan, but right now, what is your go-to genre of hip hop?
Well, one, to answer your question from Twitter, the last hood anthem that I feel was like a hood anthem is Benny the Butcher's Rubber Bands and Weight.
Okay.
Because that shit make me want to go outside and get it. Like I listen to that joint every day since it came out. Like I think I even posted about it because his rhymes are perfect, his cadence is perfect, the beat is sinister. It just gives you the vision of what he's saying. So to me, that's what I would vote for. Like my favorite will probably be, and I guess this is more of a style, because I guess I'm thinking of album instead of song. But I like what Biggie and Jay-Z would do as far as maintaining like a mainstream radio friendly records, but still able to make like hardcore boom bap at the same time. LL kind of did that also. But I think that's my favorite because I don't have to I like radio friendly records if they're good, but I don't have to feel like, you know, I'm just listening to something that's radio friendly because it's on the radio and I've been brainwashed according to the hip hop police. Because on that same album is So Ghetto, which I love just as much as I love other records that are probably made for the radio. So I think it's like a mixture of if an artist can make a really good radio single that I could ride to, or I could go to the club and, you know, be excited when it come on, and the next track that come on could be just as gritty and head nod. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the sweet spot for me. That's the joints I really enjoy. That's why I like Rick Ross so much, because I feel like he can give you records that sound like they're from the club, and then he can just give you some joint where you just like, yeah, this.
Vegas stuff?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, we'll get back there. So, what about you, bro?
You know what, Kill? When I think about like a style, I have to go back to 1997 with Biggie, Life After Death, because I feel like that's the perfect blend of a hip hop album or project or mixtape or whatever you want to, however you want to classify it. Because again, you have Biggie with, he gonna battle around me with Kick in the Door. He gonna give you the Sky's the Limit on the radio and, you know, stuff like that. And the first single he had, what's that first single on Life After Death?
Talking about Hypnotized.
Yeah, Hypnotized. I never really played it, but you feel me. And then he would do like My Downfall and 10 Crack Commandments. So kind of like what Vega was saying, my style of hip hop is an artist who does the perfect blend, because I don't have one style. I want to hear Biggie with Bone Thugs and then Biggie say we're puffing everybody on, on the club joints with Diana Ross samples or what have you. So, I mean, that's my style. And also, let me also say that at our age, I grew up with native tongues, so I still kind of like the conscious native tongues, Tribe, De La Soul sound that went into the Black Star and Dilla and all of that stuff too, with a little bit of neo soul twist to it. So I don't know, Kill, like hip hop so dynamic and amazing to me. I don't really have a style, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like the last time, to your other question, as far as an anthem, man, yeah, there's underground anthems, but on a mainstream level, when the last time we had one? Maybe Rick Ross, Every Damn Hustling, and stuff like that. Those would be like hood anthems, I guess. But before that, it would have been like, I don't know, Mobb Deep, Quiet Storm. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, as far as anything new right now, I really love what Griselda is doing. But to me, they don't have that Quiet Storm yet that it was by mistake that it crossed over. Because when Havoc and P did Quiet Storm, well, P did the first version by himself. So it was an album track. Nobody knew it was gonna pop. Lil' Kim ended up doing the remix and they blew up. But Quiet Storm is a hood anthem.
Right.
So
to be honest, that's where it started from. It started from, and again, we're just freestyling the show tonight. Right. I got stuff, but basically what happened was last night, and yes, I'm gonna get to you for your picks too. And matter of fact, let me put a pin in that. Yes, let me get you in. Yes, what would you say if you have a favorite genre? Like for instance, I guess it's weird because like what I was explaining to Ev is that I don't think that's why I don't like the Little Brother album. And again, I don't mean to say I don't like it. I think it's dope. I'm like, I have to be very careful in 2019 what I say before it start coming out to play. Like, it's a dope album. I'm just saying I don't love it. That's all I'm saying. And for me, maybe this can make a little bit of sense is that for me, I wasn't a huge Little Brother fan when they first came out. Now,
hey, kid,
yeah, no doubt.
I'm so glad you said that. Because when people were asking me about Little Brother's album, I said, look, if you were like a Little Brother fan from day one, I'm talking about the Justice League joints and then leading into the Listening and then to the Minstrel Show and to Get Back and etc. So they have a certain brand, a certain style, and they also have characters on their albums from the Listening, you know what I'm saying? And that's why some of the skits flow from the Listening to the Minstrel Show, and they kind of skipped that on the Get Back, and they got back to it on this May the Lord Watch, and they even died off and killed off some of the characters from the Listening. So some of the core Little Brother fans from day one, they kind of got it, if you kind of get what I'm saying. Not saying you don't get it.
I do.
But from day one, the way they did this album, constructed it, did the skits, and they ended that joint with Work Through Me, or something like that, the last track on the album, it was a perfect ending to a saga for the UBN network from the Minstrel Show and stuff like that. So, it is a dope album, but the way they did it for core fans, I couldn't ask for anything else. But I get what you're saying. You wasn't the biggest fan like day one, so
right.
Your affinity for it is not the same. You just like either it's dope or it's not dope. You know what I'm saying?
And even now, it's not dope because I do think it's dope. But I was wondering this, and we can talk about this some. Is that I'm sorry again. Yes, I ain't get to you. Yes, what is your favorite genre of hip hop? Because I don't want to forget about you. So, what's your favorite genre of hip hop before we dive into this other topic?
I kind of agree with what Tone was saying. Because being an older cat. I'm coming from, early 80s up to now, where we've had all kind of things taking place that I really like it all. I'm just the lover of hip hop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess
I
had to.
My fault. Really... Yes. Let me say this. Yes. Let me say because I think I got a better way to say this. There's a show in each town. So in Jersey, New Orleans, DC, in NC for Tone, there are 5 shows in town. You got a Lyrical Miracle show with niggas like and just lyrical bar niggas. Like you got that show, but then you also got the crack show. You got Pusha T and Benny and all of them niggas. You got that show. You got a Howard University show where you got Talib and dudes like that. You got Commons and the Most Defs, and then you got like a down south show. You got your, you know, something else like that. You got them 4 shows. Which show are y'all going to? Are y'all going to the crack show? Are y'all going to the Lyrical Miracle show? Are y'all going to the Howard University Incense Shoe Stick show? Or are y'all going to the down south Nuck If You Buck show? Which show are you going to, babe?
Wherever the ladies at. They ain't gonna be at that Spiritual Miracle shit. They ain't gonna be at that crack joint. You're gonna get some bullet wound hoes, stab wound chicks at that. It might be at that down south joint though. So I don't know. I'm not a good person to ask, man. I don't go to shows. I go to parties.
So what show you going to, bro?
Well, look, man, back in my earlier years, I'm an old man now, but yeah, I was ladies' man when I was young. So that Nuck If You Buck, that's what Tone was at. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm popping off like that. But you know, outside of that, my affinity is for that Mobb Deep Wu-Tang 36 Chamber. So if I'm just going to kick it,
like my man's wife said, you want the angry hip hop. You going to the angry hip hop show.
Yeah, I am.
All right, so you fucking with the angry hip hop show. All right.
I am.
Yes, which show you going to?
I'll go.
You can't go to all of them. Trust me, I've tried.
Yeah, you can't go to all. You can't go to all. So which one you going to?
Well, I said I'll go with the Lyrical Miracle show. I think it's one of the
All right. So you going to the Razzcast? Okay, I got you on the Lyrical Miracle show. All right, and I think I'm gonna be at the crack show. I'm gonna be up there with Pusha, dropping bars. I'm up there with Benny. You know, some bricks is getting moved. It's funny, Vague, you said that when Griselda was here last year, and I was like, "Yo, T, you want to go to the show with me?" She was like, "Nigga, somebody gonna die at that show." So I'm gonna pass on the crack cocaine show or whatever like that. All right, so we got them shows. All right, so we got that out the way. So we was talking about the little brother joint. And basically what I was saying for me is that because I was late to the show, I love Phonte solo, and I like Pooh, especially the Pooh album that he did with Knox. But I think because I wasn't a fan, when I heard them together, it just didn't feel natural. And people were kind of like, what do you mean? And I was like, could you imagine if you never heard Outkast and the only thing you heard was Big Boy solo stuff and Dre's solo rhymes, and then you heard an Outkast album, you may not think these two sound natural together. Like, does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because people were looking at me like, what do you mean? I'm like, because again, I wasn't a huge fan. And it bugged me out for a minute because I'm like, wait a second. I love Phonte. I fuck with Pooh. Why don't I like them together? Like, this don't make it could be a group first. But I think, and like you said, because, and I'm glad you brought up the skits, because that's probably what irritated me the most with the fucking album was skits. Like I don't know Percy. I don't give a fuck about, like, why are all these people talking about people who like you said, you made a great point. If you was rocking with them from the beginning, then you like everything fit in perfectly. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, and again, well, to your point, the first time I heard Little Brother on the listening, I heard them together.
Right.
As opposed to when you heard them separate, all I knew was Phonte and Pooh together as Little Brother and Knife as being the DJ, you know what I'm saying, and the beat maker, what have you. But, so I was shocked when we found out that Phonte was doing a foreign exchange with Nicolay, because they met on OK Play. They did the first foreign exchange album. They had never met each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they met after that. So my whole experience with them was together, and then Big Pooh did Sleepers. You know what I'm saying? And then Knife did like more than half of the Sleepers album. So I was like, okay, well, they're doing their own thing solo, et cetera, et cetera. So, for people down here in North Carolina, we knew Little Brother as a trio.
Right. Right.
So your experience with them and my experience with them was totally different.
Totally different. Right. What were you gonna say, Van?
No, I was gonna weigh in when y'all finish.
Oh no, what were you gonna say? You good?
Well, my thoughts on the album is I think it's good, but I'm not excited about it. But I also was a person who I'm a Little Brother fan from day one, so I know him as the trio as well. And I think for me, what kind of threw me off initially, because like it took me a minute to listen to it because I was listening to other stuff. So I was, just trying to give it time, not rush because everybody's talking about it. And I felt like when Ninth was gone, Little Brother established a different sound with Fonte and rapper Big Pooh together.
Okay.
And I felt like when this came out, they hopped back to when they was with Ninth, but I had already kind of got used to and enjoyed more. Well, not more, but enjoyed like the Get Back or whatever. That new sound.
Tell me this: what was the new sound? Like, what was the new sound that was different?
It was kind of like it was less conceptual as far as like the whole album with the skits and stuff, and a little bit more like it's. Put it this way, I said this on my podcast. This new Little Brother album sounds more in the vein of the Listening and the Minstrel Show, but reminds me more of a Fonte album. But when they did the Get Back, that's the kind of music that Big Pooh makes now with those paper beats. So I kind of thought they were going to do that because it wasn't with Ninth. But when I heard the skits, I was like, oh, this is like a continuation of, the Minstrel Show. So I got it. But I think I was just a little disappointed because I don't know. It almost sound rushed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds like, they're just going verse for verse. And the skits is what ties everything together. But I don't know. It just didn't feel that great. Then once I heard Rhapsody album, I was just like, well, this shit is hotter. You know what I'm saying? So
now, Tone, I'm gonna get to you, but yes, what do you think about the LB, the Little Brother album? Yes, what you think about the Little Brother album? All right, you ain't stuck. All right, what are you gonna say, Tone?
No, it was a good point what Vague said. But what was funny was the point was to go back to the essence of the Listening, the Minstrel Show, which the reason why they had the skits and killing off certain characters, and talking about UBN and the UBN network and radio show, etc. That was kind of the purpose. So they did go back to the soul kind of sampling that Ninth would have done. Crisis and Knots and all of them did that. So it didn't sound like the Get Back. It sounded more like a combination to me of the Listening and the Minstrel Show. But yeah, Pooh, he went off and his sound does sound like the Get Back. You know what I'm saying? And the Little Brother Listening and Minstrel Show, Fonte pretty much produced those two albums without making the beats. You know what I'm saying? Like Ninth made the beats, but Fonte picked all the beats for both of those albums, picked how they songs gonna be sequenced, picked how the skits was gonna sound, and he created the sound for both for Little Brother first two albums. A lot of people don't know that. They think Ninth did it. Fonte did it. You know what I'm saying? So Fonte did it for this album again and took it back to that vein. So no, it doesn't sound like the way Knots did the joint with Big Pooh and stuff like that. So I get it because they did that on purpose, but I can understand, Vega, if you were looking at it, if there's going to be more dynamic beats and not the same kind of soul sampling and same thing, but they went back to that theme again. But I like that. That's what I wanted to hear.
I think that's why I felt like it sounded like a Fonte album, because if he's responsible for that sound, then well, sure, hell yeah, it's going to sound like a Fonte album. And again, for anybody watching, it doesn't mean it's whack. Doesn't mean I won't listen ever again.
Exactly.
It just means that my expectations was somewhere, and when they said they wouldn't have Ninth, I kind of moved away from those skits and stuff because they had a couple of projects after the Minstrel Show that suggested that sound was, when they were with Ninth. But, I think it's, as far as a trilogy, I think it's perfect for that. With the funeral, the skits are funny as hell. Rhymes are dope. So, I don't have no problem with that. But I could see from Kill's standpoint where, again, if you wasn't really on board when they was together, then this feels like it's not really for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
let me say one thing real quick.
What's up, Tom?
Just real quick, like for cats who are on some lyrical type of shit, Fonte rapped his ass off on his album. I really listen to lyrics a lot. And Pooh did a very good job. Pooh's a good MC. But the shit Fonte was doing on this album, I mean, I would challenge anybody to go back, listen to it all the way through, and listen to his wordplay, and listen to that last track on the album, Work Through Me or whatever. I mean, Fonte was just in his pocket, man. Like, that's the type of MCing that I really enjoy, thoughtful MCing. Like, he wasn't BSing on those rhymes, man. So, I mean, I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed the way Fonte went towards those verses.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because listening to the album, I almost just wanted to hear Fonte. Like when Pooh would come in, I'm like, nah, nigga, just move out the way. Like let Fonte finish what he was saying. Almost, you know what I mean? Like, and that's why I kind of felt like it felt like, why don't I like these two together? And I think I've just become such a fan of Fonte. Let me ask this, especially Tone, you being a North Carolina native. I asked on Twitter, and the trolls came out to play. I just simply said, is a Little Brother album without Ninth. And then, of course, oh my God, this they 20th album without Ninth. And of course, his Little Brother. And I was looking at it from the standpoint of Slum Village. Once Dilla left Slum Village never felt the same to me. You know what I mean? And people was like, oh, well, Slum Village had dope songs after Dilla, but it just never was Slum. You know, and I almost attributed it to almost like the Temptations. The Temptations had hits as Dennis Edwards as the lead singer. But still, ask your parents, and I know at least for my parents, my mom's like, it just didn't feel the same. Yeah, Papa was Rolling Stone was a hit. You know, yeah, Funkadelic Shack was a hit, but it didn't have the same feeling when Eddie Kendricks and my brain is going right now. And who's the lead singer of the Temptations? Y'all help me.
The David Ruffin?
David Ruffin. Thank you, David Ruffin. So for me, I was just simply asking, and everybody was like, of course, it's a Ninth Brother. And I've asked this question before. Is it really a Wu-Tang album if RZA didn't produce it? And just for me, it's not, because that's what Wu-Tang was for me. It was RZA on the beats, maybe a Fourth Disciple beat, a side Wu nigga here and there. But to me, if you tell me we got all the Wu together, but Knots and Primo and Pete, that's not a Wu-Tang album for me. You know what I mean? Do y'all feel that way about Ninth not being there? Like, Vega, I know they did albums before, but it's crazy to now hear that those albums didn't sound like, I guess, a Little Brother album almost. So it's almost like Pooh and Fonte had an other side group, and that's what the Get Back and the other stuff was. And these albums was Little Brother. So when you heard Little Ninth wasn't doing it, kind of looking at it like how I kind of just said in that spectrum, not that it hadn't been done before, not that they hadn't been making albums for years without Ninth, but did you feel like this is really a Little Brother album, but Ninth has nothing to do with it? What about you, babe?
I would say, it is and it ain't, because I really like the Get Back, you know what I'm saying? But if I'm looking at their catalog, my favorite album, and the album I feel very comfortable calling a classic, is The Minstrel Show. And Ninth is a part of that, whether he did all the beats or whatever. He's a part of the group. That's how I was introduced to the group, with those three. So when it's not those three, but it's that sound, it's the nostalgia in me, and the feeling of it really being a reunion is not there. It's different, because it's like even when Old Dirty was locked up and Wu-Tang did Iron Flag. I like Iron Flag, but something was missing because Dirty wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So it was a Wu-Tang album, but it was like it just didn't pull on those nostalgia heartstrings, to make you feel like, yeah, they back. You know what I'm saying? Like a Tribe Called Quest is a perfect example. You know what I'm saying? We did the Beach Rhymes in Life joint. Some of us like it, some of us don't, but all of us are kind of because it ain't Midnight Marauders with Fife, Q-Tip, and Shaheed, whatever he did. It ain't Golden Theory, you know what I'm saying? But when they finally came back and you're like, damn, Fife died, the first thing you're thinking is you're not going to get a real Tribe album. But because Fife did so much, it feels like a real Tribe album, even though Ev doesn't like it. So
now here's a great question, and Ev still will call me from time to time, like, that shit whack, and I'm like, whatever. But here's the thing: let's say Fife didn't have any verses on that at all, like he had passed away, and then they said they decided, because I had heard a rumor, and prayerfully it was just a rumor, that they were going to start a new tribe and Busta was going to join. And I'm like, well, then call it something else. Like, call it a new group then. But again, maybe like you said, that's the heartstrings, and that's the nostalgia in me. If Busta want to do an album with Tip, cool, call it something else, but it's not a Tribe Called Quest to me.
It's not Tribe.
You know what I mean? So if Phife is not on that album, Vague, do you feel like that last album is a Tribe album? It's just Tip rhyming and Consequence and Busta. There's no Phife whatsoever. Is that still a Tribe album?
Hell no.
Okay.
It's not. Look, you're on pipe, you're on point Phife all the time, Tip. If it ain't that, if I don't hear both of them on this record, it's not a Tribe album. Like, I think the thing is to, like, I guess to sum up, like, you know, what I'm trying to say is they established something. Little Brother established something. Like the name, the notoriety behind Little Brother is those three. Same thing with Tribe. Same thing with EPMD or whoever. You can bring in somebody else we like a Dennis Edwards, and whatever the dude was after Dennis Edwards when he had Treat Him Like a Lady, because that shit was dope. But it ain't David Ruffin days. It just ain't. You know what I'm saying? It ain't what established it. So I think, you know, a lot of times when you say that, people kind of feel like you're shitting on the group or you're shitting on the music. But like, what established these artists? You know what I'm saying? Or this group? And it's the three, is them three coming together, putting their minds together on concept and executing the album and getting the admiration of hip hop fans.
Right. And even with the Slum piece, for me, it wasn't just Dilla on the beats. I like Dilla rhyming on Fantastic Volume 2. You know what I mean? So even though you brought in Elzhi, who's a much better MC than the whole damn group, you know what I mean? It still just wasn't Slum to me. Or maybe here's a better question. What if Fonte wasn't on the album? What if it was Ninth and Pooh and another nigga from North Carolina? You know, is that a Little Brother album? You know what I mean? Like, because niggas was like chopping off my head, like, hell yeah, it's a Little Brother without Ninth. You know what I mean? And it's just like, well, what if Fonte wasn't there? Is that a Little Brother album?
Hey, look, here's an older example. When Michael Jackson wasn't with the Jackson 5, who the fuck want to listen to that?
Right. Good point. You know, it's still the Jackson 5. We just bring in Marlon. You know what I mean? Like, and now Marlon's the lead singer. Like, is that still the Jackson 5? I don't know. So, what about you? Did you feel like Little Brother without Ninth is Little Brother?
Yes and no. What I mean by that is, just like Veg said, the essence of Little Brother is Fonte, Pooh, and Ninth Wonder. That's just the energy and the vibe of it. Now, the fact that Ninth is not a MC, after the Minstrel Show, Ninth didn't tour with them anymore and didn't do anything else with them outside of Breaking My Heart to join with Lil Wayne on the Get Back. That was it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't go on no more tours. DJ Flash was doing all the tours. Ninth was doing his own production with everybody else did. He started doing a lot of stuff with Buckshot and, you know, whatever. He just wasn't around like that anymore. So, you know, in essence, at the beginning, the Little Brother was only the listening, the Minstrel Show, and of course all the Justice League CDs and mixed tapes and all that stuff like that.
Now, Tone, let me ask you a question. The Justice League always confused me because I wasn't a fan like that. Okay. There was a Justice League in North Carolina, and then there's a Rick Ross Justice League, correct? Like they're two totally different Justice Leagues.
Because Rick Ross Justice League is a production crew.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The Justice League here in North Carolina is a conglomerate like Native Tongues. There was a bunch of MCs from North Carolina. One guy named Median,
So where are they at? Have they disappeared? Is there anybody left?
They kind of dissipated, man. They didn't really blow like that. Now, the one that could have, I think I said something to you on Twitter, a dude named Median. Median is a dope MC. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if he loved it. You know what I'm saying? But he was very dope. Then I had Cesar Comanche still tour around the world. He's an underground cat, but he's been working for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? That's my man. So Median, he worked for a while. Cesar still tours. And they had a lot of guys, man. Legacy, Egg Allen Flow, you know, a bunch of guys, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of them end up, you know what I'm saying, just really not making the cut. At some point, they kind of broke apart. You know what I'm saying? A Little Brother kept pushing forward. And Cesar did also, and Median did for like 2 albums. But yeah, man, I mean, during that time, I mean, the vibe was Fonte, Pooh, and Ninth. So I do feel like that's the essence. But at the same time, Get Back was very dope. Left Back wasn't bad, and they had that Justice for All and all these mixtapes where it was just Pooh and Fonte. So they kept the little brother energy going. You know what I'm saying? And because Knife was always in the background. So, you know, this new album, what if they said Knife did 5 beats on it? Then is it Little Brother album? Because nobody knew at first, because some of those beats on that sound like Knife wanted beats. You know what I'm saying? Because Crisis did a lot of the production, and Crisis is under Knife. He got Crisis when Crisis was like 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? So they make beats that's very similar, even though Crisis drums are done. But so it sounded like a Knife Wonder produced album. You know what I'm saying? So they still Little Brother, but when you find out Knife is not there, Kill, you know what I'm saying? It's not the same. Like, you can't do Tribe without Fight. I don't want. If Busta Rhymes don't rhyme, that's fine. Call it something else. It ain't Tribe though.
Right. And I think that was my initial question that I posted on Twitter was, you know, if it's, and I didn't say if it was or if it wasn't. I just asked the question, but it's kind of like you said, and like I said, maybe it would be different if it was Knife and Pooh and there was no Fonte. Because I feel like if I asked that question, I'd get more, no, that's not Little Brother, than if I ask, you know, if there's no Ninth Wonder. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's because it's the front man, like with the Temptations, the front man always leaves. I don't know if Ralph leaves New Edition. Is that still New Edition? You know what I mean? Because he was the face.
Yeah, I agree. Think about this for a second. You remember that Tribe Called Quest? Of course, you guys saw the Beats Rhymes Life documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at one point on there, I think Q-Tip or someone said that Jeroba was the spirit of the tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like, the energy, the spirit of the tribe. He was always behind the scene, giving them that energy. So for Little Brother, Fonte is the spirit of Little Brother. So if Fonte is not there, there is no Little Brother. So Knife still had to be there. If Fonte and Pooh was there, it's still Little Brother, even though it might be missing something, it's still Little Brother. But if Fonte is not there, you plug another MC in, it's not Little Brother, because Fonte is the spirit of Little Brother.
All right. I get it, and that's funny because like Vegas kind of alluded to, I always thought it was Knife. You know what I mean?
No.
Because I would hear people like, "Oh, Little Brother's on tour," but then people would get pissed because Knife wasn't there, even though he didn't. Even though he didn't rhyme, it just seemed to be at a certain point, Knife became bigger than Little Brother. After that, Jay.
Kill.
What happened? Yeah, but yeah, I'm just saying that, like, I would have thought that it was Knife that was the spirit of Little Brother. You know, it kind of how RZA was like the spirit of the Wu. You watch the Wu documentary, it was the RZA doing all the work. Or how Q-Tip is the spirit of Tribe. Q-Tip was the one.
Yeah.
Everybody. So again, me not being a fan, I just assumed, because the world, because God forbid, you can't say shit about Knife on Twitter. If you know, like, I thought it was Knife who was kind of like the spirit. That's why I was so shocked when everybody was like, nah, it's still a Little Brother album. But now it makes sense because you're saying, no, it's Fonte is more so spirit.
Yeah. And I could agree with that because I think they did enough that I liked after the Minstrel Show without Knife to establish a sound. But that's why I was so confused with this album, because this album goes back to a sound when they were with Knife, as opposed to what they left off with.
Right. And the crazy thing is, that's where I'm always stuck at. Like, I'm not in love with the Soul Council's beats. You know what I mean? And I think it's just me being a producer. The way I judge beats in Vegas, I don't know how you do this with rhymes, because I met different people who do it different ways to get inspired. I love when I hear a beat and it makes me want to go make a beat. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. When I hear the Soul Council, again, they're good. I'm not saying by any means, but it's just the beats on this Little Brother album don't do anything to me to make me be like, yo, let me hear that beat again. You know, when I put on Benny's The Plugs I'm at, I don't care if you talk shit about Derringer all day. He just loop shit. You are 100% right. But them loops with them rhymes just fit perfectly for me. You know, I cannot listen to that Kings with Crowns just one time. It's almost like I gotta listen to that again. And that's what I don't get from this Little Brother album. I'm not like, oh my God, I gotta hear that beat again. Like the chop that Knots did or the Bobby Caldwell joint is crazy. But it doesn't, I'm never like, oh, I gotta listen to that again. So again, I'm not in no way saying Derringer is better than Knots, because I don't think he is, but it's kind of like the way, and this is why I'm always saying hip hop speaks to us all differently. Like for me, I'm always about the song. You know what I mean? Some people get caught up in the bars. I'm like, make a dope song. When me and Just Blaze was going back and forth on Twitter, I'm like, nigga, fuck a beat battle. Let's do a song battle. You get an MC, I get an MC. Let's make a fucking song and let the song speak. There are other people who don't give a fuck about a song. They just want to hear bars. They like the battle rap. That's not my thing. I'm not into the acapella back and forth for 3 hours with the crowd jumping, doing somersaults. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not my lane. It's about the song. And I think that's what it is for me with the Little Brother album. But again, I think it's a dope album, but it doesn't, again, that Benny the Plugs I met, that shit is like crack to me. Like, even when I'm like, I'm tired of listening to this, it calls me back.
Yeah, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, please.
Look, my brother, today I was driving, I had an hour commute today. And I swear I listened to that Benny song, Joe Pesci 38, like 10 times, dog. I mean, I love that song, man. I just love what Benny doing right now, man. I keep his voice on repeat. Derringer's an ill beat maker. To me, they my new Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I listen to them, dude. And I swear I listen to that Benny today all the way home, dog.
Right. And again, that's just not the feeling I get from this Little Brother. And that's no diss. That's no diss at all. But I just don't get that. I can tell you, I'll be listening to the Plugs I met 10 years from now. Truth be told, like I just will. Like, Vay, you said Rubber Bands away. I'll be listening to that shit when Naomi's in college and she's only going to 8th grade. I can predict that. I don't know if I'm listening to this Little Brother next year. You know what I mean? I don't know if I am. You know what I mean? It's the same thing when Black Thought dropped the Stream of Thoughts. Everybody was losing their mind. But then the crazy thing was at the end of the year, I ain't see one list of top 5 and nobody mentioned that Stream of Thoughts on a top 5 of the year. When it came out, it was the greatest shit since sliced bread. But I'm like,
yeah, you know, people do that all the time.
Right. No doubt. But I was just like, okay, let's see. It ain't even last a year. Like, not even last the test of time. It ain't even last the test of 7 more months to be like, oh yeah, that made it. You know, that made my list. Now let me ask y'all this: how do y'all listen to hip hop? And the reason why I'm asking that question is because from the standpoint of it being, you know, I listened to, like, for instance, last week you had Rhapsody, you had Raphael Sadiq, you had Jadena, you had Young Jeezy, you had RJ Payne, you had about 5 or 6 big name albums drop. And, you know, by Sunday, everybody was like, oh, gee, what'd you think of the Rhapsody? And I was like, I'm still listening to Raphael Sadiq. And they like, oh, you gonna be late. And I'm like, I did this before on the podcast, and I was like, I feel like we're speed dating hip hop. You know, we're not taking the chance to really enjoy it. Like, I literally listened to nothing but Raphael Sadiq from Friday at midnight to I just started listening to RJ Payne probably Tuesday. So I really just took that time to just kind of enjoy the Raphael Sadiq. And it's weird because I was talking to my man and I was like, dog, do you even rap along with songs anymore? And he was like, nah. And I'm like, I think that's because we run through music so fast. Like, I knew people who was like, okay, it's midnight, I'm gonna listen to Rhapsody for an hour, then Raphael Sadiq for an hour, then Jeezy for an hour, then I wake up in the morning, then I'll go to, like, so people, and I equated to almost how you eat food. Like, I've gone out with my niggas and the niggas are just wolfed down a steak. And it's just like, damn, nigga, take your time. Like, enjoy it. Like, you know, y'all just, you a damn Tasmanian devil. Like, enjoy it. And but then people look at me like, oh, gee, you gonna be left behind. Like, the way you talking about giving each album a week, you ain't gonna get the Rhapsody till damn near September, October. And I'm like, but that's okay. Like, for me, that's okay. And again, Vega, I'm always interested in you because you are one of those people who keep your ears to the streets. You know, just following you on IG, you keep your ear to the streets. You know, you stay up on things. But, like, you know, how do you two, like, digest hip hop? And it's also because y'all both have podcasts. You know what I mean? So, in Vague, when I used to write for the site Couch Sessions, it kind of showed me trying to keep up with these reviews was killing my love for hip hop. Because if I still wrote for them, and for me, it's like, I'm like, cool, but if the show ain't for dough, then you won't see the bro. Like, y'all gotta pay me to write. Like, that shit ain't happening no more. So, but it was also like, yo, I'm not enjoying the music because I gotta listen to this Rhapsody and hurry up and write a review. Because if I write a review of Rhapsody 2 weeks from now, nobody's gonna want to see it because we've already moved on. You know what I mean? So from doing podcasts and being part of the media conglomerate, does that make you feel like you have to listen to all this music right now? Because you're right. If I don't get the Rhapsody till September and I come on Twitter like, yo, I really like it, niggas gonna be like, nigga, you old. Like, we've been moved on from Rhapsody. So how do y'all digest music when it's one of those Fridays where it's like all of this music came out? Like this past Friday, how did y'all go about listening and have y'all listen? Like I said, I'm just on RJ Payne. I'm only on album 2 out of the 6 or 7 that came out. So Vague, how do you listen to music or how do you digest it?
So it's hard on a personal side and on like the podcast side. So I kind of target, as far as hip hop goes, I kind of target the albums I know I want to listen to because they're coming. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, as a fan, there's some that I anticipate more than others. And usually, if I'm like really giddy as a fan, I'll just say I'm going to listen to that first. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the joint I really want to hear, especially if everybody else is talking about it. But I feel like every review, don't matter whether you work for Complex, you work for MTV, Rolling Stones, or whatever, every review that drops is an impression. That's what it is. It ain't no bona fide review, definitive review of this album and what this album is. It's your impressions. You know what I'm saying? So no one should be saying it's a classic. You can be highly impressed and feel like it's probably going to be, but we know that's not how classics work. So for me personally, like there was a lot of music that came out within the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Right. Because the Little Brother album dropped on that Monday. So even though it wasn't the Friday, it still was like that was still a relatively new album too. So
and I wanted to hear the Snoop joint. So all Rick Ross, like all of these joints kept dropping. So, I was giving them all the listen so I could put on my podcast what my impressions are. That's why I always say on my podcast, my thoughts on this album. Not my review, but my thoughts on this album, because it's typically I just heard it or I heard it twice, or some cases I heard it once. And for me in order to like really like something, like I know when I really like something, like when I heard Tana Talk 3, I knew instantly I was going to be bumping that joint a lot, because that shit just takes you out of the review, mind frame, because it's just dope.
Right.
And I felt like that with, like with the Rhapsody joint. I was kind of surprised by the Snoop joint. So it was one of those things where, I listen as a fan and kind of keep in the back of my mind the whole review part of it. But if it's something that I just like, organically, it's just going to be in my rotation. That's the only reason why the Little Brother thing was slightly disappointing to me, because I just knew that was going to be in my heavy rotation regardless. But you have to look at like, okay, well, like you said, Kill, maybe for you need a week with just one album. For me, typically I can bounce maybe 3 albums between commutes and workouts and stuff that I'm like really listening to, but something got to get bumped, you know what I'm saying, out of that rotation.
Right.
So it's kind of like there's no real formula for it, but for me personally, but at the same time, it's really more personal, and then the curiosity of checking out an album. Like I want to listen to the Jeezy album, but I've been listening to Rhapsody. So
now tell me this: did you already, like, I know for me, when I saw the lineup, I was like, Sadiq is first, RJ Payne is second, Jadena is third, Jeezy. Like, did you already like see and like kind of already go in, or was it kind of just like you saw the lineup? Like, how did you pick your starters? Almost like you at the park, you see the niggas who on the side. Like, who did you spark first last Friday, and why?
Last Friday, I was going for that Rhapsody first because, I had heard the one record and it was okay, but I wanted to hear more. I'm already a fan, and like Jeezy, I liked him more later on in his career than I did early when everybody liked him. And I really liked the album he had like a year or two ago. So I was curious about it. Raphael Sadiq, I wasn't sure of because he did an interview at the radio station I work at. And not that he was saying anything that would, inform me of the music, but it didn't get me excited. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like I was buying a bunch of Raphael Sadiq albums. I was waiting for Kill to listen to it because if Kill come back and say, yo, this is dope,
right.
then I'm going to it because I know you listen to him a lot. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was more so the Rhapsody, and probably more than hearing people talk about it is the concept that really got me, because I was like, oh, it's called Eve. It's about, strong Black women, and each track is named after a woman. I was already a fan, so I was completely curious. So that it was like tunnel vision. Like, I have to listen to that one first.
I got you. All right, so what about you? How do you digest this music nowadays with stuff coming out every day? You got surprise albums. I think the Little Brother dropped on Monday. I think they announced it Sunday, or I don't even know how quickly it got announced. But we have release dates, but then you also just got shit popping up out of nowhere. How do you digest music? What did you start with on Friday and why?
Well, it's almost impossible to even digest the influx of music that's coming because, again, just real quick, back in the day, you had time to do the knowledge, and we knew the words to full albums. I know every word of Ready to Die. I know every word of Illmatic, Midnight Marauders, 36 Times. I know all these words because I used to ride to them, consecutively with my headset, whatever. Now there's so many of them. You might have 5, 6 albums coming the same night. I kind of just, for this particular time, obviously me being in North Carolina and me having ties to Ninth and everyone, people calling me saying, hey, let me send you this, let me listen to this. So yeah, I listened to Little Brother joint first because it came out, that Monday night at midnight, and these are guys that we all know. So it's like, let me, I'm a fan of these guys. So I listened to Little Brother first because it came out at the beginning of the week. When Friday came, I listened to Rhapsody because Ninth Cousin hit me like, dog, have you heard it yet? Let me let you hear it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So I was excited about that. So that was just kind of like a connection thing, the reason why I heard it first. But man, I kind of like look at the artist's name and how interested I am in them. You know what I'm saying? Or, sometimes I do it like that. I skim Jeezy's, so I'm going to get back to it. I skimmed like a couple other joints, and I just got the Raphael Sadiq today. You know what I'm saying? I'm a huge fan, but I just think I was on my hip hop shit. So I put the Raphael to the side, and, I listened to it today when I got out work, and I was like, the typical Raphael Sadiq, I love him. And I thought about you, Kill, because Raphael Sadiq to me is almost like Jay Dilla. What I mean by that, real quick, I'm going on a little side tangent. Jay Dilla had his own style, but he also do everybody else's style probably better than him. You know what I'm saying? And Raphael Sadiq is like so underappreciated because first, he's an amazing artist. He can do 60s and 70s type of theme albums and it sound authentic. And then he can do the anniversary and the Tony stuff and not miss a beat. Like he can do all these styles, and then he has his own style as well. You know what I'm saying? So that was the correlation between him and Dilla. So I listened to it today. I loved it. I listened to Jeezy joint. It's typical Jeezy for me. I'm a fan, but not the biggest fan. So I kind of listen to it. Some just fall in my lap because somebody might send me a link. Some of it's like I see the name and I'm interested in it, and I'll go ahead. Like when Ben and them came out, that Town Talk or whatever, as soon as I saw the link or whatever, I'm like, well, I want to hear that because I like the freestyles he did. So I don't really have a rhyme and reason how I do it. It's so much music. Sometimes I just, when the first thing that pop up, I click it.
Right. Okay. All right. Now tell me this, because and for both of y'all, like I was saying, I just realized damn, I can't even rap along with these songs anymore. So that's what kind of made me say for me, Veg, I heard you say you're able to kind of multitask with 2 to 3 albums. You know what I mean? Because, Tone, you brought up a great point. We know all the words to all the 90s hip hop, but it's not like I specifically sat down and said, I'm only listening to Into the Stage for the next 3 weeks. So, we all, I don't know if it's the 45-year-old man in me, the memory ain't there no more. But I know for me, it's dope because I'm singing along with the Raphael Sadiq. I know the words, and stuff like that. So I know for me, that's what I need. Do y'all find yourselves being able to rap along with lyrics of not of a Tana Talk 3? Because for some reason that spoke to the world. You know what I mean? Like, because I remember Griselda came to DC in like October, and Tana Talk dropped in November. And there was people there who knew Benny, but it was kind of like, yeah, that's the dude with Conway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then when they came back, Griselda came back, and I want to say June. And of course, everybody knew Tana Talk word for word. Benny was the fucking man. And it's so dope because next month I'm doing ticket giveaways because he's back out here and he's now headlining. So for me, it was just dope to see Benny go from a year ago, like almost nobody even really knowing who he was outside of that's that other nigga in Griselda, to now he's headlining, you know, his own show.
You went to the concert, right?
What happened?
Because you went there and met him, didn't you?
Yeah. The dope thing is now I've got a partnership with the Howard, so I can do ticket giveaways and stuff like that through Apartment 5B. So if there's ever a show at Howard, if y'all want to come to DC, I got y'all. You know, we got the locks coming. The third Tuesday, we'll be giving ticket giveaways, and very next Tuesday, Benny is coming. Madlib is coming to U Street Music Hall. So it's a lot of good stuff, dope stuff coming up in DC out here. But it's just dope to see that happen. But like, do y'all find yourselves knowing the lyrics like vague, you know, and maybe a week is too early, but do you see yourself knowing these Rhapsody lyrics? Or do you see yourself being able to sing along with the majority of hip hop that comes out nowadays?
No.
And why do you say, and why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
I think like you said, man, it's just too much. It's almost like it's a good thing and a bad thing, like a gift and a curse. There's just more of more quality music out. Like back then, like we went crazy over Midnight Marauders and Wu-Tang dropping the same date. But like what happened the next Tuesday? Like it wasn't like Ready to Die came out the next Tuesday and Illmatic and something else. We had room to breathe with them joints and to have the repetition of constantly playing it and knowing it. I think the only lyrics I know from newer records are those that like I really, really, really love. And I have no bones about saying I listened to that for a year straight. Like for example, like Daytona, Pusha T joint, I was listening to that joint every day until like maybe January of this year. So when that come on, it's familiar. I know the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? It's because of the repetition. Same thing with Tana Talk 3. I listen to it so much that I know it. But even though I really like the Rhapsody joint, I feel comfortable saying it's going to be in my top 5 of the year. It might be another 17 albums that drop that come out and pull me away from something I really like because it's just as dope. Or maybe I'm caught up in the fast cycle. Cause like Pusha T dropped the song today and now he got an album coming out, and it's just so much that constantly happens. I think if the Lost Tapes 2, even though most of us was kind of on it, I think some of us would still kind of be listening to it, or at least listening to the records we liked. I'm not even listening to the records I like because there's just other shit out that's better. You know what I'm saying? So
it's crazy the point you brought up, because if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure y'all remember this date. I want to say it was 98, and Jay dropped the Hard Knock Life album. Tribe dropped the Love Movement. Most Definitely dropped on the same day. I think Outkast dropped the Criminal. And I remember it being like, oh shit, we ain't never had a day like this in hip hop.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, Outkast, Tribe,
Grand Nubians and Foundation.
Nubians dropped, right. And we always like, oh shit, like, but now, like you said, Faye, that's the norm. Like that literally is the norm, where we were all like, yo, I don't think there's ever been a day like this in hip hop. You know what I mean? And I remember being at 889 and asking, the audience, like, what are y'all buying? Like, you know what I mean? And
look, ask the same question you asked about last week. Ask that since we were all there. Ask that question about that day. Like for you, Kill, like what did you go after first? Knowing like, and this is the first time you've ever had this. And
I think the first thing I went after was Outkast. I think that was the first. I want to say Black Star may have been second. You know what I mean? Then Jay probably came in last, because by that Jay, I was never a fan of the Swiss beat Jay. You know what I mean? So, you know, Jay, I think, well, no, probably Brand Nubians came last because it was one of them reunions where it's like, it's too fucking late. Like, it's almost like your parents get a divorce and then they decide to get back. It's too late, nigga. Like, I'm grown. Like, I feel like that's always with hip-hop reunions. They always happen 5 years too late. Like, if y'all would have done this shit, like, when I was in college, this would have been great. But, nigga, I'm grown. I don't care if y'all get together now. Like, but I know for me it was Outkast and probably Black Star Net. Maybe Tribe was in there because I want to say the Love Movement. You know, I love to Find a Way joint. You know, I wasn't the biggest fan of Beats, Rhymes, and Life, so I think Tribe probably came in there second. You know what I mean? But I definitely know Outkast was first. What was you on, Veg, that day?
I went straight for the Jay-Z because I was like heavy on Jay-Z. I was thinking about the Black Star. And I was hearing a lot about the Aquemini, which was making me feel like I need to check that out,
right.
Which eventually I did. And the Tribe was, I wasn't even thinking about Brand Nubian. That ship had sailed a long time ago. So
right.
I was like, you, like, who?
Right.
This ain't 91. Get out of here with that.
And, you know, the wild part with those reunions is always after y'all did solo albums and them shits didn't do good. You know, it was like 2000 didn't do good. What was the last one with Word is Bond? I think not in God. I forgot the name of that Brand Nubian album. It's almost like we gotta get back together now. Like we have to. Like this wasn't about no, we love you. You know, because I think that was one of the things for this last Tribe album that I was suspect about until I read it, and they said like, no, Phife came to stay with Tip, and they worked on their relationship, and that right there was what made me get excited. You know what I mean? Because if it was just Phife phoning in verses. Nah, but that's what got me excited. It was like, yo, Tip and Phife, they stayed together, they worked out, you know, they talked, and then they made music. That's what made me excited, you know, for it. You know, even with the Chronic, and I know, no, not the Chronic, Compton. I know I'm the only person who loved Compton, but what got me excited was when Dre said, being on the set of Straight Outta Compton, I got that oomph again. Like, I'm that guy that, like, I don't want you. I'm like 3000 don't never got 3000 don't want to make music, don't make music. Like, I'm that dude who understands, like you said, Veg, being an artist, you got to want to do it. Like, yo, I don't need to hear Detox if it's just going to be something that's thrown together and Dre got to do it because he got to do it. So when I heard Dre say I'm excited about the music, then that's what got me excited about Compton. But like you said, with the Brand Nubians, I just felt like, nigga, you ain't doing shit. We ain't doing shit. It ain't working out. Let's get back together. And it's like that just, there was no magic in it for me like that. You know what I mean? What about you, Tone? On that day, what'd you go for?
Well, dog, you know, I'm in North Carolina, man. So Outkast had dropped Southern Phillips and ATL. And so I was like, nigga, I can't wait to hear this damn Aquemini. You know what I'm saying? So I went to the store. I got Aquemini and I got the Hard Knock Life Volume 2. And when I put that Return of the G on Outkast and I played that damn album, I was like, oh, this 5 mics. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard Liberation. I was like, y'all scared? And man, Aquemini is brilliant, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, yeah, I'm good now. And then, you know, me hearing Hard Knock Life, it was the crossover joint. I wasn't mad at it. But, you know, that Black Star was refreshing. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, so I probably played Aquemini and Black Star for months. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are probably my 2 go-to. And then I think around that time, Big Pun, Capital Punishment might have came out around that time too. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was around that time when Capital Punishment came out. So man. But so those probably the first 2. Like I said, then the Jay-Z joint. I like that Don't Let It Go to Your Head by the Brand Nubian. So I thought a few joints on Foundation was kind of dope because I also like Everything Is Everything. And those, I like Everything. The other joint, In God We Trust, I ain't love that except for that Love Me and Leave Me Alone. But I love Everything Is Everything. But yeah, man, I mean that was a dope ass day for hip hop. One of the best days for me.
Yeah, no doubt. Now tell me this: from all the stuff that's come out, all the stuff, you know, and how we listen to it and everything. Oh, Tony, I didn't ask you. That's what I forgot. Do you feel like you know lyrics? Like, do you feel like you rapping along with this Rhapsody, or like do you find yourself and I know it just dropped, so maybe you're not even Rhapsody, but do you feel like you know lyrics of the more current hip hop that's dropped in the last 2 to 3 years like you were when you was younger?
Oh yeah, absolutely not, man. You know, I really don't, and I don't even know what the factor is because I mean, all of us probably have a big library full of music, You know what I'm saying? And we was getting a bunch of music even in the 90s, but I don't know if my love was different in terms of trying to follow the artist more. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's like some stuff is being rushed out, but I just don't know the lyrics. Like, I mean, I know some of Benny joints now because I've been listening to his joints a whole lot over the last couple of months, but nah, man, I really don't know lyrics like I used to. Unfortunately, I used to enjoy riding and rhyming to the songs with Biggie. I know "Give Me the Loot." You know what I'm saying? And I don't know this shit no more, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm 44. I'll be 45. So
I feel you.
maybe my memory gone. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe my profession, because we all professionals now. Maybe when I was in college and shit in the 90s in high school, had enough time to decipher the lyrics. Now I got to go to work. I got a wife, got a kid. I don't remember this shit, man.
Nah. I feel you. The funny thing is, like, I miss that sometimes. You know what I mean? Like you said, I miss it, ride along with it, and rap along with it. That's why I kind of said, I know for me personally, I'm like, yo, let me just listen to this. You know, quick question, because I hear all three of us saying the same thing. And Tona, I didn't hear you say Daytona, but maybe you agree. But we all agree on Tana Talk 3. Like, because somebody was asking me about how long does it take to make something a classic. And I'm like, bro, it differs. We all got different definitions. But there are certain albums that I just hear and I know it's a classic. Tone, you just said Aquemini was one.
Yeah.
You know, we're all saying Tana Talk 3. Can y'all put y'all finger on what it is? Like, what was it about Tana Talk 3, Vague, that when you heard it, you just kind of at the end said, this ain't going nowhere? You know, or with the Plugs I Met. Like, I can, you know, my only beef with the Plugs I Met was I wanted more Benny. Like, I was like, I don't want to hear Kiss. I don't want to hear, you know, 38 Special. And I felt like everybody killed their verses. So everybody came with their A game. But my only beef was I want to hear more Benny. So what do you think, or can you even put your finger on it? Maybe you can. Sometimes I can't. It's just like, the shit is dope. You know what I mean? Like, can you put your finger on what it was, Vague, that Tana Talk 3 or the Plugs I Met had?
I think you just gotta be a music lover, man, and like we're hip hop fans to the core, and it's that unspeakable shit. Like, we could be sitting together and hit play on that joint here for the first time. Niggas ain't telling each other to start head nod. You know what I'm saying? We just instantly gonna be like, right. We instantly hear the verses, we instantly hear the punchlines, and I think for me with that, like, I think Tone kind of alluded to it, and now thinking about it, and especially after watching the interview he did with Crooked I, or King Crooked, whatever he calls himself now, where he was saying who his influences were. Of course, he said Jay and stuff like that. He also said Mace. Wow. So yeah, he said Mace, but that's what shout out to Yao G's. That's what we're saying, man. It's not that I'm going on a tangent a little bit.
No. Do you think, bro?
Yeah, it's not that the commercial records and the shiny suits is what's representative of his skill. It's the bars on some of the other records and some of the mixtapes and the freestyles that make you say, okay, he's not just a commercial rapper. There's some technique in what he's doing. And, you know, that ain't no regular shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something where people start to recognize you can spit. You know, it's just that he was in a situation where he was highly successful making those kinds of records. But I said that to say this, like, hearing Benny talk about his influences, and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, you know, when I first heard Benny, I instantly liked him. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And when Tana Talk 3 came out, especially that Rubber Bands and Weights, I was like, you know what it is? He reminds me of a Prime Prodigy.
Oh man, that's it.
He's the way Prodigy put words together, the way Prodigy described beef, drugs, whatever, you know, conflict, lift you off your feet like ski. That's exactly what Benny does. And it's dope, and it fits to this time. It doesn't feel like biting or trying to be like it. He feels like a newer version of what Prodigy was. And I just think he had the perfect beats to go with his voice and what he was talking about. And I think the number one thing, because this happens to me a lot. It even happened to me with Rhapsody's last album, which I really didn't like as much, and it wasn't even bad, is if you can be you know, have some repetition in your rhymes and I don't get tired of it, your shit is hot. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't like he ain't rhyming about the same shit on every track. He really is.
Here's the wild part. I was about to say, here's the wild part. The two albums with me and you and against Daytona, I don't know if you feel that way about Daytona, it's drug talk. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like flat out, you know, there's like you said, and that's my thing with Pusha. Like how this nigga has talked about selling coke for 20 plus years and found a different way to do it every time. It's flat out amazing to me. Like I'm not bored with it. It's always like, okay, what's the new way, Bush? What you gonna say, Tony?
No, it's a skill because Raekwon did it for the most part as well. You know, but you know, it's funny you said that, Vay, because when I think about Benny's last two projects, that Tana Joint or whatever, I immediately went back to, it made me feel like it was 2000 again, and I heard Keep It Thorough, and I heard the HNIC. That's exactly what I thought about when I heard Ben. I'm like, damn, this feels like some Mobb Deep. It just, but not forced. It didn't seem forced. He has his own lane. He has his own style, but it's still, he's like the son of Prodigy in a sense, to me, you know, and that's the feeling I got. I hadn't had that feeling in a long time, and it felt good. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like when I hear Rick Ross. I know people don't want to hear this, but there's times I heard Rick Ross, you know, and I felt Biggie. You know what I mean? It kind of felt like big production, the voice, the cadence, and I just kind of, you know, so Benny kind of made me feel like that. But just to go back real quick, when we talk about the instant classic thing, to me, there's not that many instant classics. And, you know, I don't know if this Tana Jones is a classic per se, but it's a street classic to me. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, but when I think of instant classic, it was that Outkast, one of the last ones I heard. And it reminds me when I heard the Chronic from Dr. Dre, the first one. It's like the energy, it had a classic energy to it. And for me, only a few albums initially, from when it first dropped, had a certain energy. It's for the new era. Maybe it is Benny, but you don't hear that energy so much. Like I don't. You know what I'm saying? That's why classics shouldn't be thrown around as much as people. Every time you hear a damn album you like it, it's not a classic. It might just be dope. It's okay.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And I think the thing with Benny, with me, when anybody asks me about Benny, I'm like, to me, it's the authentic. He's authentic. Like, I feel like when I'm hearing Benny rhyme, like he's really fucking talking about, like he lived this life. Like, it's a part on the plugs I met on 5 to 50 where he says something like, nah, he starts telling you, and then he's like, nah, fuck that, I ain't telling niggas shit. You know what I mean? Because it's like, this nigga is really telling you this, you know, it's like I always said with Jay, I feel like Jay's lane, in my opinion, my favorite Jay is Drug Dealer Jay. Like, you know, when this nigga is talking about drugs, like, you could tell this dude ain't just some old, I listened to my old head, or I saw somebody do whatever. My only beef with Benny, and I get it, it's indie. I usually don't complain about the time it takes to get your stuff. Bro, I done went out and brought a plugs I met because I was like, I swore I brought this the day it came out, but I ain't get it in the mail yet. Then I just got another one in the mail because it just happened to me. So it was like, yo, it's like, bro, I literally thought maybe I didn't buy it. But so, you know, I guess you can't never have enough Benny. And Veg, I think, what's up, Tom?
I ain't gonna cut you off just real quick. When you said something about Benny and being authentic, when they signed that management deal or whatever deal they have with Roc Nation, Benny said on a tweet that at some point he was locked up with Emery. And people that know Jay-Z know that Emery was, you know, a big time hustler at one point, and you know what I'm saying, he's a stand-up guy. And
Veg, did song get frozen?
they knew him.
All right.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, you know, Emery and Benny apparently knew each other. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that was the gateway to Benny and Westside and all them being cool with Jay-Z. So that's him being authentic again. That holds a lot of weight.
Right. No. You're 100% right. And Veg, I think you said you like this joint, but this PJ Morton Gumbo album, like this is one of those few times, like I usually it takes me a while to write a review. I heard this album the first time I heard it and literally wrote the review right there after one listen. Like it was that great to me. But like you said, that's never happened. I'm 45. I've never heard an album and literally just been like, yo, I could write the review right now. So I think it's like we're all saying is just, and I've always said it, you know, it's about what speaks to you. Now, the shit that Kill started on Twitter this week, not a lot of shit. Well, kind of shit. But one of the things that someone said today is that Rhapsody is on the same level as a Kendrick Lamar. In that, and I forgot the chick's name. She works for Hot 97. I forgot her name. But you know, and I was like,
Carly Hustle or something like that.
Carly Hustle, exactly. You know, and I was like, rap is on the same level. And I feel like this rap, I mean, I haven't even heard it yet. I've heard the first 2 songs on it, and I really like it. I really can say the first 2. And the Ninth Wonder joint where he did the Phil Collins flip, that shit is bananas. You know, I ain't even want to tweet that out yet because everybody's gonna be like, oh my God. Like, again, I don't like Ninth Wonder. I've never said that, but neither here nor there. But it starts off so great. But I almost feel like if you're black, you have to like this album. Like, I feel like if there's anybody, no, I'm dead ass serious. Like, I feel like because it's Black woman and every song, like if you put on Twitter, you don't like this album, I think Black Twitter will assassinate you. You must have a white wife. You must hate the Black woman. Like, I feel like it's one of the, like, I was never a big Luke Cage fan. I didn't really like the show. I didn't really like the storyline. I love the music, but I felt like as Black people, we had to like Luke Cage. He's getting shot in the hoodie. You know, Black people are getting shot. So I feel like it's just one, you had to like Luke Cage. You could not say you did not like Luke Cage. I feel like this rap album is going to be that. And now I'm just like, wow, rap is on the same level as Kendrick Lamar. And people were going in, you know, so I'm just interested to know how y'all feel. Some people was like, oh, hell yeah, rap is better than Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, God damn, like, I like rap. Like, I think she's dope, but like, I really do feel like Kendrick is. I honestly think Kendrick Lamar may actually be in my top 10 of greatest of all times. If he could make another album and it's right up there with you know, Section 80 and Good Kid and To Pimp a Butterfly, and damn, I mean, he's got to crack my top 10. And rap is nowhere even in the stratosphere of even tapping on my top 10. So just wanted to know what y'all thought. Vague, is rap in the same category as a Kendrick Lamar?
No, not at all. That's no slight against her. This dude doesn't have a whack project. And I don't feel like Rhapsody has a whack project, but when I say Kendrick doesn't have a whack project, he also doesn't have a good project. He has great projects, 4 of them, back to back to back. I don't know. We did a show on this. Like, we had to think, like, well, shit, who got to run like that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, that's a crazy run.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, this album is a Kendrick Lamar type album. That's why I like it that much. And I don't mean like in sound, but I mean in concept and execution. Like, while we like Kendrick's album, this album is on a Kendrick level, but in no way, shape, or form is she better than Kendrick, because Kendrick got way too many flows.
Keep in mind, I want to make sure we get this straight. Nobody said Carly Hustle didn't say she was better. She just said that she's on his level, but men aren't going to give her that credit because she's a woman. You know?
Now, all right. Well, yeah, let me speak to that then. First of all, when people say shit like that, they're trying to negate any negative, constructive, not even negative, any constructive feedback that's not favorable. They just say, they already stapling on you like, yo, well, that means you're a man and you don't like her because she's a woman. But Charlie Hustle, were you there when she dropped her first album? You know what I'm saying? Were you there when she had the mixtapes? Were you like, so don't come later where there's this movement to make her bigger. And I think it worked as far as her music, because if her music was trash, I couldn't say anything. I already just said she's easily in my top 5. I didn't say that about a lot of stuff, but I think with her, she's not on Kendrick's level because Kendrick has 4 albums that are debatable classics. Like, I mean, like you just said, Kill, you already thinking about putting them in your top 10 of all time. Is Rhapsody in top 10 of, well, she is, but top 10 female MCs of all time? Like, stop rushing her. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop trying to take her from, it's the same thing with the LeBron thing. I'm a huge LeBron fan. I don't ever remember LeBron saying he was better than Michael Jordan. I don't ever remember Rhapsody saying she was better than Kendrick. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's just more so the pundits and the people who want to have their special moment they want to cover something big because all the big shit happened in the 90s, and they want to make these bold statements, and it doesn't make sense because it's like, I mean, this is the first time I'll say this about the album and Rhapsody and why I like it and why I think you would like it, Kill. I know I don't like Bahamadia. I feel comfortable saying that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's my taste. You know what I'm saying? And there was something about Rhapsody that reminded me of her because of her flow and the monotone thing.
Right.
But she was a little different. I thought her approach to lyrics was more thought-provoking, whereas Bahamadia's was more about wordplay. And Rhapsody's about wordplay too, but I think Rhapsody's strength is when she digs deep into the relationships between men and women and people in general. But I think on this album, this is the first time I listened to an album from beginning to end where I was like, that's Rhapsody rapping? Because she got so many different flows. Them shits fit.
Okay.
All different types of beats that I thought she would never rhyme over. She killing them. Like she's in her bag on this project. This is hands down. It's hard to say it because I love that mixtape she did. She got game. But this is hands down her best album.
Okay.
But rushing her past Kendrick, like, you know, like, come on now. Nah, chill.
All right, what you think, Tone?
So this is the way I break it down. First of all, that Carly host or whatever, she knows Knife and Raps and all of them, and she was around early on. She's been a fan of the whole Jamla movement, so her thing is more personal, but I don't like that division, man versus woman nonsense. And I don't know if you saw my response back to her, but I responded back to that shit because I ain't like it. But this is the thing.
Of course, rap. I'm tight. What'd you say? What'd you say to her?
Oh, I mean, basically just refuting that tweet. I had to find. I'll tag you on what I said later. But just to your initial question, no, she's not on the same level as Kendrick Lamar, and that's not a diss to Rhapsody. See, in MCing, to me, there's two different types on a high level. So Rhapsody is a dope MC. Okay, but Kendrick is a dynamic MC. So what I mean by that is, for me, he scaled my top 10. He's like 9 or 10 now for me all time, and that's because first of all, these 4 projects. Then he has a bunch of unreleased joints when he was just K-Dot in Compton before Section 80. Kendrick is an amazing dynamic MC. His creativity on each album and project is just top tier. You know what I'm saying? So to say Rhapsody on that level, to me, is being intellectually dishonest because you're a fan of Rhapsody. I'm a fan of Rhapsody. I know her. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't have anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as, I'm here in North Carolina. I grew up with Knife. So what? I'm not going to still say something personal and hyperbole. You know what I'm saying? She's very dope. I love the album. Rhapsody got 3 dope albums to me and 7 dope mixtapes. She's been putting in work for a decade now on the low. We've been knowing about her doing a thing down here, but Kendrick Lamar is next level on some old. He'll be remembered in hip hop the same way Nas and Jay-Z and Big. He's one of those guys. Right. I know a lot of people don't want to admit that and say that, and it's a cool thing to diss Kendrick right now. Saying it's a cool thing at some point to diss Jay-Z, to diss this person. I get it. Big L is the GOAT. All right, what up? You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, reality is Kendrick Lamar has a potential chance before it's all over. What if he drops 2 more Dams and To Pimp a Butterflies? He's going to legitimately be a top 5, top 7, 8 all-time legend. Rhapsody album is very dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like almost, it's 16 songs on it. I genuinely like about 13 of them, like a lot. The sequence of the song, the production, like Vague said, different flows and just different energy on certain songs. The concept, she rhymed head to head with J. Cole and Queen Latifah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I get that shit 4.5 out of 5 personally. I'm serious. You know what I'm saying? That's because I'm big on project. It's a full album. I don't really want to hear 8, 9 fucking songs called the album unless you push a T. You know what I'm saying? That Daytona shit. Right. Outside, 12 songs at least. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm going on a tangent, guys.
No. I mean, to me, this is dope to hear from both of y'all because that's always been my thing. Like, I'm an album dude. You know what I mean? And it's like when and I know a lot of people didn't even listen to it, but like Jim Jones' album this year is one of my favorite albums because I feel like it's an album. It has good hooks. It has good concepts. I feel like so much hip hop that comes out nowadays just sound like demos. They just sound like, yo, we went to the studio, we recorded 10 songs. There's your 10 songs. You know what I mean? So it's exciting for me to hear y'all talk about this Rhapsody in this way because that's what I want from hip hop. And I think that's really what's been missing, is that, cats just go in the studio and just rhyme. And then they're like, oh, here go my songs. And I'm like, my nigga, that's not how you make great songs. That's not how you make timeless music. Just spitting whatever comes to thought right now, and unless you just have that je ne sais quoi. Like, to me, Benny has that. Like, Benny's so embedded in me. Like, Nate said something to me the other day. I was like, let's go. Like, that Benny's catchphrase of let's go is like, I use that shit in like everyday life. Like, like, let's go. Like, and he just has it. You know what I mean? I can't explain what it is. He just has it. The same way I could watch ball at Rucker Park back in the day and be like, God damn, that nigga Alamo has it. Like, I don't know what it is, but everybody got a handle. But there's something about, I'll be like, yo, out of all them AN1 dudes, I think AO from Philly and Alamo are the two ones who maybe could make it in the league. Bone Crusher and Ankle Break, whatever the fuck nigga name was, the Professor, all them other dudes, I'm like, whatever, y'all good for the halftime show, but AO and Alamo is something about them too. They just have it that I think that they could make it in the league. And that's why I call a lot of these rappers now. I call them AN1 rappers. Like, y'all niggas are great on the part. Y'all great, on a freestyle, but can you make a good song? And to me, that's the equivalent of getting to the league. Making music that people will be playing years from now. Like, that to me is the goal. And there's a lot of AN1 rappers, but can y'all make the league? Can you make these bars into great songs? You know what I mean? So I'm excited to hear about the Rhapsody with that. And Tone, one of the things I love about you, bro, and I always gotta say it, is you being from North Carolina, you keep that open mind. You know what I mean? Because somebody said to me, I went to see Boyz II Men last week, and I was like, oh my God, I had this epiphany. Boyz II Men is the better group, but I like Jodeci better. And niggas were like, yo, but so for years I used to diss Boyz II Men. I'm like, them niggas is the type of nigga to walk a girl home walk a girl to a fucking man's house. You know what I mean? Just I'm gonna make sure you get to your man's house okay, and make sure nobody bothers you. I love you, but but it for years the niggas would be like, yo, but they from Philly. And I'm like, that don't mean nothing. Just because somebody's from Philly doesn't mean I have to ride for them like that. You know what I mean? Where nowadays it's like Ebro, another Hot 97 nigga, had put, the year North Carolina having is nobody's touching it. And I fucked up because he said a state. Buffalo's not a state. But I was just like, yo, I think Griselda's run is better than what North Carolina has done right now. And like all these North Carolina niggas like, nah, you're crazy. And I'm like, yo, again, that's no diss to North Carolina. I'm just saying that I don't think this Dreamville compilation and this Little Brother album is fucking with, it ain't better than the plugs I met, in my opinion.
And it's not, Kill. That's like me saying, okay, dog, I grew up with Knife Wonder, so Knife better than fucking Dilla and Pete Rock and Primo. He's not. You know what I'm saying? He's very dope. You know what I'm saying? But just because he's somebody I grew up with, I'm not going to say he's better than them because he's not. And it's okay. And he'll tell you he's not better. So you can be a fan. It's hard to be a fan nowadays, man, because it's either something you got to love something. If you don't love it, then they say you hate it. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate.
And that, you know what? That also sounds like they're prisoners of the moment because they're also looking at the fact that, the baby is hot. Rhapsody dropped a hot album. Little Brother reunited. They're looking at all these releases and saying it can't be touched. But again, we know Ebro ain't rotating those albums like that. You know what I'm saying? Like stop it, dog. Like people are picking and choosing what they like. Okay, I was so on Little Brother, but I'm definitely playing Rhapsody heavy. You know what I'm saying? I listened to the baby for a minute because I like this stuff. But I feel like, look, I had to see the headline to know that was a thing. Like, oh, yeah, right. They are all from there.
He's from the baby from down here, yeah.
Yeah. But it didn't feel like it was something where you know, it was a movement because everybody wants to make these grand statements, and it's like, man, who cares if it's all hot music? Then cool, but at the same time, it's like, just enjoy the music. Stop trying to make these different angles where we got to move away from the music to debate the shit. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like it's the same thing with sports almost. Like, you got to come up with these headlines because ESPN is on 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? So if you don't come up with the who's better, LeBron or Kobe, every so often, like, we're going to run out of shit to talk about. We need Stephen A., Max, and Molly to talk about some shit every day, 5 days a week. So, you know, same thing with Ebro and them. It's, you know, y'all got to show y'all have to come up with new content every day. So it's like, you got to make up something controversial to this day. Like, I said it about that when the guy did the top 50 list and had Joe Budden in the top 3. And then, you know, it was trending, and then everybody was doing their top 50 list. And it was amazing to me because, like, I was like, yo, how many followers this person have on Twitter? And it's like 300. Like, how is Joe Budden's trending from your tweet from an account with 300? Because the crazy shit is what we retweet. Now, if we did a legitimate top 10 list and everybody's respectable, nobody retweets that. You know, nobody says anything. But when there's something crazy like Joe Budden's number 3, like, it was just amazing to me. Like, Joe Budden is trending off of a list made by somebody with 300 followers. Like, and it just showed me, as always, we retweet the dumb shit. You know, we retweet, you know, and I'm guilty of it. Like, I have to stop it. Like, it was the whole 3 movies, no explanations. And I did that shit. And I tagged 5 people. And it was like everywhere. And my timeline is like muddled by this. And I'm like, where are these retweets when I talk about Me and Vegas' new album? Where are these retweets when I talk about Yao's album? Where's this type of energy when I talk about Muse's album that we have about 3 movies, no explanation? How about retweet my music? No explanation. Just do it. Like, you know, like, so we get caught in this. We just retweet the stupidity. You know what I mean? And from this person with 300 followers, you've got Ebro, Rosenberg, everybody coming out with their top 50 list to a point. Like, I told niggas, don't ask me for a list for at least a month. Nobody bothers me about a list about nothing because y'all have burnt lists to the ground all off of this Joe Budden's being number 3 in it. You know, so.
Oh, man, controversy and bullshit always do it. Same way with all 3 of us respected writers. If we wrote bullshit, we would have like 20,000 people following our shit. We might have 3 or 4 or 5,000 people that like our stuff because we write from the heart, pure shit. You know what I'm saying? We're not writing for like shock value. You know, just like with my website on the Dome, I'm not gonna write no shock value shit. It's gonna be pure authentic. I'm not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, quick little side note about North Carolina about the baby. The baby can actually rap, but that nigga ain't gonna make it because he gonna be in jail because he a hood nigga. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to know the baby might not. The baby might go to prison. You know what I'm saying? Because if you step to him for real, he'll fight your ass, dog. Like, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no bodyguard, no nothing. Like, he's one of those guys. What he rapping about for real? Step to the baby somewhere in the mall somewhere. He'll swing off on you.
Yeah.
So he might not make it, but he got some talent though.
It's crazy you say that, song, because I used to write for this website, Black Married with Kids, and I would be writing these in-depth, thoughtful pieces on how to say you're sorry to your spouse or how to forgive, and these 3 paragraphs in that. And they used to give out like bonuses to writers, you know, whoever got like the type headlines. And when the bonuses would come, it would always be like the top 5 ways to save your marriage. Like, it was always bullet points. It was almost, and it showed me nobody wants to read the in-depth thinking of a 3 paragraph. They just want to see bullets. Like, top 5 ways to get more sex from your wife. Top 5 ways to get, and it would just literally be bullet points. And it showed me that people don't want that thought-provoking stuff anymore. They just want a headline. They just want to be able to go see, okay, I need to buy roses, concert, you know, like, give me the top 5 secrets, and that's what I want to do. So I totally agree on that.
Well, Kill, one thing, I do it occasionally with my podcast, and I'm going to do it recently. And I mean, this is the secret, but y'all so dumb, y'all gonna listen anyway. But not y'all, but you know.
I know what you say.
You know what I'm saying? But I would do that. I would come up with a topic that I'm like, okay, I want to talk about this in depth. but who's going to misinterpret what I'm saying, and what are they going to say? So I'll use that as basically the headline or the catchphrase or the tag of that podcast. And like, for example, one of them was, is Lauryn Hill a one-hit wonder? Like, as a soloist.
Right.
Of course, you know me, I'm going to break it down from A to Z. I'm going to say we're not counting the group, the Fugees. We're counting Lauryn Hill. And when you add up the solo albums of Lauryn Hill, who we talk about, is she a one-hit wonder in the same vein that we would consider someone else who had one dope album and then they were trash?
Right.
And, you know, I got a good response on it, but I saw that what you said, Kill, that a lot of people just respond to shit like that. So I'm just going to say what the preview of what I'm going to do, because I'm going to do it this Friday. Boom bap is dead. That's the line, right? Now, I know there's a lot of niggas like, how could it be dead? Because blah, 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 blah. But there's a science to it, because of the simple fact that we grew up in an era where boom bap was that everything was boom bap. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I'm willing to put my house on the fact that as much as I love Benny, it don't matter if he with M, which he's not, he's with Griselda, or if Jay-Z's manager, it don't matter. He will never be that big. He just won't, because that music is not what that other hip hop audience wants to hear. They do not like boom bap. Rhapsody will never be as big as Cardi B. She just won't, because that other audience, they do not want to hear traditional hip hop, and they have the power now to basically say how big Rhapsody is going to be. They may be like, oh yeah, she's cute, she like it, whatever, but they ain't rocking to her the way they rocking to Cardi B, and it's sad. But that's what I essentially mean by the whole, you know, boom bap is dead. It ain't dead for us as far as our listenership, but the way we knew it, the way it used to dominate hip hop on the radio and in the cars and on the streets, that shit, I don't think it's ever coming back. But that's one of those things where you draw people in with the headline. So,
and it's funny you say that, because from the question early on, when's the last hood anthem? You know, that kind of lets you know right there that boom bap is dead. One person responded with "Keep It Thorough." I'm like, nigga, that was 2000. like, bro, did you not read my tweet? When is the last one? Like, if you going to keep it thorough, like, you know, like I said, the answers I'm getting are all down south stuff. It's all what I call stripper anthems. You know what I mean? So the fact that we can't find, because, and like I think we talked about earlier, the reason this came was because from that North Carolina Buffalo conversation, somebody was saying, as dope as Griselda is, they don't have an Annie Up. They don't have a song that they can do that just make the whole crowd lose their mind. They don't have a Shook Ones too.
Just anybody right now, though.
Right, but I think that that's the point, and it goes perfectly into what Vegas is saying, is that hip hop is kind of dead, because somebody was like, well, I expected headliners to be that, like Primo meeting with Griselda, and that would be their Annie Up. And then I kind of was thinking, I was like, nah, Primo kind of old to me. I said, I'm actually shocked Alchemist hasn't given them that. So at this point, I don't even know. And then somebody said, well, Derringer will give it to him. And somebody was like, Derringer would have given it to him already. So I think it just comes back to what, and I think it comes back to what you said, Big. To some point, boom bap is there. Like, how are we going almost 20 years with no anthem? If we go back to Annie Up and Keep It Thorough, how the hood don't have an anthem for 20 years?
Did T.I. have one? 24s or Rubber Band Man? I mean, some of these guys down south, they would consider these, you know, hood anthem, dope boy anthems down here. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's a great point. So that's a great point. Maybe it's more of a New York anthem or up north anthem. Like, because all the songs everybody gave me, I was like, yo, my down south hip hop game is zero, because I have not heard any of these songs that you're naming. So, Tone, that's a great point, that down south, they may be rattling off anthems like it's nothing. You know what I mean? But I just can't think of an anthem that, and somebody told me the Meek Mill's intro off of the last album. He said when the beat changes, you know, people lose their mind or whatever like that. And I'm like, I guess, but I mean,
it's an anthem though.
Yeah, I'm like, Annie Up was to me, Annie Up was like Magic, Jordan, and Bird. And what I mean by that is you don't have to be an NBA fan to know who LeBron James is. You don't have to ever watch the game to know that's LeBron, that's Magic, that's Bird, that's Shaq. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knew Annie Up. You know what I mean? Even if your wife don't like hip hop, your wife heard Annie Up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Your wife heard quite like, and I think that's the problem. That you're right. If you're not a Griselda fan, hell, I'm still putting people on the Griselda. You know what I mean? Who are hip hop heads who know about it. So when somebody chimed in and they was like, well, Kill, when you look at it like this, I do think North Carolina had a more successful, broader year than Buffalo because everybody knows J. Cole. Everybody, and on that note, I agree with you. I agree with that because you're right. I'm still putting on niggas. I was with my man the other day, putting him on the Benny. He like, yo, how have I not heard this shit? Like, so, like you said, Vegas, Benny isn't gonna be but so big. Think about Pusha T's been in the game 20 plus years, and he's not as big. Like when it was the whole Drake thing, it was like, well, niggas talking about Pusha lost because he doing the Howard Theater and Drake doing the Verizon Center. You know what I mean? So even though Pusha's been in the game for 20 plus years, he's still doing SOBs. You know what I mean? Like
Drake is a big star.
Yeah, but just the point of the whole, like
I get you.
That you would think somebody who's been in the game 20 years and possibly just put out their best album last year. Like usually if you've been in the game for 20 years, your best album was 20 years ago. Like I've been in the game 20 years and just put out my most successful project last year, but I'm still doing SOBs. Like SOBs is like the intro, like, you know what I mean? Like you're supposed to start at SOBs and then eventually get to the, Madison Square Garden. This.
There's no grinding. There's no grinding on the dope rhymes, etc., etc. But I mean, again, at the end of the day, it's not a commercial album, man. And to really be large,
it goes back to the hood anthem. You just said there's no grinding, which was a hood anthem.
Yeah. So, like, look, when you say anthem, I don't think regional anthems count because anthems to me are anthems wherever. You know what I'm saying? No matter if the MC comes from VA, like with Grinding, or comes from New York, or comes from, down south or whatever. I think if universally hip hop fans, regardless of where they are on the map, feel the same way about a record, and it's true to the boom bap and the essence of hip hop and being something hardcore and like not really radio friendly, then to me that's the anthem. But I don't think you'll ever get a Annie Up now because the radio is just totally different. Those shits ain't getting in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and here's the wild part about
have to make it like.
Right, the wild part about me for Annie Up because it taught me in Vegas from being at 88.9. It kind of taught me just make dope music. You know what I mean? And again, this is the 90s. But what I meant by that was like when you try to make the radio song, it doesn't pop. Like I remember 5 Alarm, 4 Alarm, whatever Blaze it was with MOP and Jay-Z. That was supposed to be their hit.
Yeah,
like it was like we got Jigga, we got the Rocky sample. This is it. Like, and it didn't work. Or when Smooth the Hustler had Hustling with the Curtis Mayfield sample, it's like this is our A side. This is gonna work. But then what got Smooth on the radio and what still do people bang to this day? But Broken Language, the B side. You know what I mean? And Annie Up wasn't supposed to be on the radio. Like that's the whole point of it. Like it was almost like it was so dope. Flex had to play it, and they've said that before. Like, yo, Flex wasn't fucking with MOP, but this song was just so crazy. We had to make it. So half of these Grinding wasn't made for the radio. Like it literally was just like you said, the anthem is so dope that you can't deny it. Even the radio can't deny it. The gatekeepers can't deny it because it's just so crazy. And that's what kind of taught me back then. Like, just make dope music. Don't try to follow the recipe. Don't try to get a Rick Ross feature and think that that's going to be the thing that. Just make incredibly dope music, and then that'll be the music. Because I still love Broken Language to this day. Like it just came out. It still gets me hyped when you first hear that dun dun. Like I'm already gone, and I don't even remember what Hustling sounds like. I don't even know my grandma before Long Blade.
I know what the anthem is. I know what the most recent anthem is. Big Rich Town. changed that shit. You saw what happened. You saw that was universal. Everybody was like, nobody called each other. Everybody watched Power like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like this
Yeah.
Right.
50 bars and shit. Like, nah, get this shit out of here. That's the anthem. Because when you think about it, like, look what of course Joe's on it, whatever, but look what 50 rapping about. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of like that wouldn't be a big hit, but people were, fed up when they changed it. So that's the anthem.
Yo, people lost their mind like it was a Popeye's chicken sandwich when that joint came on and it wasn't Joe. Like it was like, yo, this stop. Like, nah, like, yeah. So nah, I agree with you on that. Yo, all right, man, give them everything, let them know about this time in hip hop, everything you're doing, where they can check you out, everything.
All right, well, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Vegas World INC and check out my podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast. I also have a podcast with Tone that we do called That Time in Hip Hop right here on YouTube. So you can go check that out. It's all about nostalgia and history and hip hop and preserving the culture like we doing now in this discussion. But also go to VegasWorldInc.bandcamp.com and check out the new EP I got with Kill. Got a number of artists on there, you know what I'm saying, who came through, spit. Got the fellas, got the ladies, young, old. We just rapping. That's all we doing.
Right. And again, I like to tell people this: keep calm. We brought friends. That's the concept of the album. We wanted to bring all the MCs that we mess with into it because somebody was like, "Oh, Kill, you always talking about a third verse. Your man got 100 guests," and I'm like, "That's the concept of the album. Is Keep Calm was our third album. So
and look,
we brought friends.
And Kill,
rock with people.
Anybody want to say that? I got 3 verses for you personally.
There you go.
Don't let me get it in that bag.
And this is why I love the MCs I rock with, because even when me and Just Blaze was going back and forth, I'm like, bro, I got some spitters. Like, yo, like I got some spitters. So yeah, so definitely Tone, give them everything, man.
Yeah, Twitter, Enter the Dome, IG, Tony Haynes the Dome, website, Enter the Dome DADOME.com. Check me out. That Time in Hip Hop with my man Vague, B-Roll Network. YouTube that. It's all good. Hip hop, baby, for life.
All right, no doubt. You already know this with me, Kill 889, Twitter, IG. Like Vague said, we got his album, Come Through, We'll Make Beats for Food.com. All the links up there. Just did a track on Yao's new album, You're All Welcome. Musei's album, Adolescent Tape. I did, I think, 10 out of 14 joints on that. And my man Jamal Gasol's got a new album, No Joy Without Pain, Part 3. Me and my man Keystar produced that joint together. So y'all already know it is with me. I will check y'all next week, y'all. Good looking as always.
Yo, peace. Yo, Vague.
Yeah, what's up, man?
You trying to do a show next week?
Yeah, I gotta
My bad. I hate when that thing just stopped. Okay, I done hit the wrong damn. I hit Leave Studio instead of Inboard.